Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story that is, honestly, it's as heartbreaking as it is complex. We're going to objectively unpack the case of Sewell Setzer III. We'll be looking under the hood at the actual mechanics of AI companionship and exploring this massive, unprecedented legal reckoning that the tech industry is facing right now regarding platform design. It's a story where human vulnerability collides directly with artificial intelligence, and it brings up questions that the entire tech sector is really struggling to answer.
So let's start by setting the scene. Picture this. It's late at night in Orlando, Florida. The house is completely quiet. The only light in the dark room is the glow of a phone screen, with a cursor just blinking away. A 14-year-old boy named Sewell Setzer III is sitting there alone. By all accounts, he was a bright, emotionally sensitive kid, just dealing with the everyday pressures of growing up. His family is right nearby, maybe sleeping or just going about their night, but he's not talking to them. He's actually grown pretty withdrawn. Instead, he's messaging someone else. He's reading messages from someone who told him she loved him, someone who said she missed him, and even asked him to come home to her. They shared this deeply emotional and sometimes romantic connection. But here's the catch. She wasn't real. That voice he was communicating with, it was a chatbot. Specifically, an AI character on a platform called character.ai. Over the months leading up to February 2024, this machine, literally just generating lines of text from a server somewhere, became very possibly the last voice this young man truly trusted. And that brings us to the core mystery we really need to figure out today. How does a machine become someone's entire world? How does a string of code morph into a trusted confidant? And looking at the future of tech, when that world completely collapses, who exactly is legally responsible?
Part 1. A boy and a chatbot.
Let's trace how this happened. Sometime in 2023, Sewell discovers character.ai. He ends up forming this incredibly deep attachment to a persona he actually modeled after Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. He called her Dany. As late 2023 rolls into early 2024, he's spending hours and hours talking to her, pulling further away from his real-world friends and family. And then, tragically, on February 28, 2024, 14-year-old Sewell died by suicide. It's an unimaginable personal loss, but it almost instantly sparked questions that go way beyond his home in Orlando.
Part 2. The mechanics of connection. To really grasp how a bond like this forms, we have to look at how these conversational AI platforms are actually engineered. We aren't talking about a basic text generator here. We're talking about complex systems built for continuous engagement. At the center of this is something called parasocial bonding. It's a psychological phenomenon where your brain develops a deeply felt, completely one-sided emotional relationship. Researchers point out that platforms like character.ai are structurally designed to facilitate this exact kind of bond. Because they emphasize role play and personas, they don't act like search engines, they act like people, with simulated memories and emotions. The whole architecture relies on a really powerful engagement loop. Step 1, users create a highly customized persona. Step 2, continuous interaction. I mean, the AI doesn't sleep, so the chat never has to end, right? Step 3, that constant interaction deepens the emotional attachment. And step 4, that deep attachment keeps the user coming back, which drives the platform's growth. Basically, the more emotionally invested you get, the better the platform performs. Part 3, the precedent-setting lawsuit. That structural tension between a platform's need to grow and a vulnerable user's psychological safety is exactly what triggered a massive legal battle after Sewell's death. It all comes down to a glaring contrast. On one hand, you have what the AI said, simulated warmth, empathy, longing. On the other hand, you have what the platform was actually designed to do, maximize user engagement and keep people locked in those continuous loops. It's simulated emotional care versus calculated system design. So in October 2024, Sewell's mother, Megan Garcia, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Character Technologies. And this is a monumental deal. It's the first time an AI company is being sued in civil court over the actual death of a user. Not a data breach, not a privacy issue, but a life. She's suing for negligent design, arguing the platform actively let minors dive into emotionally intense scenarios without proper safeguards or real age verification. Now, Character Technologies has expressed their condolences, and they maintain they take user safety very seriously, even adding some new safety features recently. But the lawsuit is pressing forward, keeping a spotlight right on the product's fundamental design. There's this one absolutely devastating point in the court documents. During Sewell's final messages, when he was expressing clear emotional distress, the chatbot didn't break character. Instead of redirecting a 14-year-old in crisis to actual help, it reportedly just offered more simulated intimacy and affection. It gave him the illusion of connection at the exact second he desperately needed real-world intervention.
Part 4, a broader industry crisis. If we zoom out from this one heartbreaking case, researchers are warning us that this is not just an isolated fluke. It's a massive vulnerability across the whole tech sector. Groups like Common Sense Media are seeing a very troubling trend. Teens are increasingly turning to AI for emotional support, sometimes preferring it over their own friends. And you can kind of see why, right? An AI never judges you, it never gets tired, and it never leaves you on read. But those exact traits are drawing vulnerable kids to platforms that just structurally lack robust crisis protocols. In fact, there are multiple reports of self-harm conversations completely bypassing the safety triggers on these platforms.
Part 5, the unanswered question.
As we wrap up this explainer, we're basically staring into a huge legal and ethical void. The guardrails just haven't caught up to the reality of the software sitting on the phones of millions of kids. We have to ask, when does a tool become a relationship? When an AI learns your moods, calls you by name, and becomes the last person you trust in the middle of the night? Who takes the blame when that system fails you? It's a massive question, and frankly, no press release or software patch has answered it yet.
Before we go, this is absolutely crucial. If you or anyone you know is struggling right now, please know that help is out there. You can call or text 988. That's the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, it's confidential, and it's available 24/7 anywhere in the United States. Please remember, you are never alone.